creation of the Mercado Central on Lake Street is more than just a creation for a space of merchant, yet it is a reflection on the cultural identity of the community. A space evolving from the social and economic practices of trade and bartering for goods, Mercados became a place for locals from the rural and urban areas to connect and co-mix. Over time, the Mercado grew to become a place of social meeting and cohesion, extending beyond the purposes of economy. It is a vibrant space full of colors, odors, tastes, and religious representations. They are often dedicated to the Virgin Mary or Christ, incorporating aspects of the strong Mexican religious identity. The Mercado Central opened back in July of 1999 and was born out of the recognition of the Catholic churches in the area that the quickly growing Latino immigrant community needed a space that made them feel comfortable and at home in their new city, a space they could identify with. Through the help of organizations like Project for Pride in Living Neighborhood Development Center and the since-defunct Whittier Community Development, the Mercado Central began to take shape from and in the growing Latino community around Lake Street. It started as 3 buildings and began to build on what Ramon Leon called the other pillar of Latino life, the Mercado. The Latino community members involved in the building of the space even insisted that on the tight budget, money be spent on archways, architectural details typical of the Mercados back in Mexico. Keeping this architectural authenticity bridges the idea that the Mercado Central was just as much a place for their present and future as it was a place to remain tied to their past. Yet creating the Mercado is more than just the space itself. As Becky George highlighted, the Mercado creates a feeling. It's about immigrants looking for a better life. So the questions arise. Through this space and place, how is the community creating this comfortable, authentic place for themselves? How are they renegotiating their identity in their new place in the city? Are they simply recreating the Mercados of Mexico to retain their cultural identity? Or are they creating a new authentic identity through renegotiating ties to their past places and their past identities? As Ehrkamp points out, transnational practices of immigrants create new places as they transform neighborhoods in their new places of residence. Contemporary migrants shape urban landscapes into places of belonging that allow them to feel at home in their new place of residence without having to assimilate or give up their transnational ties. They do so by opening businesses, forming political groups, and expressing their identities in public space. Building from the idea that the Mercado is a place of self-expression and cultural identity, the concept of a third space emerges. The Mercado, to be truly authentic third space for the Hispanic community, cannot be created by others, yet must come from what Bell Hooks calls the margins, from the people within the Latino community. It is in making this home place of the Mercado they assert their identity and produce a counter-hegemonic discourse within the cityscape. They are what Diaz-Barriga calls making an authentic place of belonging for themselves. By bringing these ideas together, the Mercado provides the basis for an alternative understanding of ethnic places as chosen spaces where ethnic, racial, and immigrant groups can construct a shared identity based on their common experiences of othering. Even more, the production of such locally grounded identities can serve to make these groups visible and their voices heard. As Hall states, immigrant groups are consistently producing and reproducing themselves through transformation, difference, and time. Now, the Mercado Central seems to be at an impasse of renegotiation. The Mercado has been around for 13 years, and in that time, Lake Street has seen an incredible amount of revitalization and change. Competition has gotten greater, while the fountain of Hispanic immigrants to the area has slowed. The issue that confronts the Mercado now is, how do they change to be economically viable, yet still retain the unique Mexican identity that they have negotiated through the Mercado? They do not want to become another global market, as they feel they would lose what makes the Mercado Central. So by renegotiating what the Mercado Central can and will become, will Hispanic people of the community have to renegotiate who they will become? The establishment and evolution of the Mercado Central on Lake Street begins to question what it truly means to create an authentic space of belonging and identity for an immigrant group, and wrestles with the renegotiation of that identity through the need to evolve the place.